remove front bumper and headlights on a Tesla Model 3 Highland. Let's jump right into it. All right, we're gonna start by opening the front, and in here you gotta take all these plastics off. You can start by taking this guy off here. Just pop this off. Just held on with clips. And then after that, you got 10 mil, 10 mil, and then two 10 mils inside front here. All right, after that, backside of the front here, there is this vent. You have to pop these guys off of here. So just take a plastic pry tool, pry that off. You can leave that there, or you can take it all the way out. Set that aside. All right, so before we remove the actual front, there's a wiring harness for this light, I believe it is here. So we're just gonna pop this guy out like that, so it gets that wiring harness a little easier. All right, with this wiring harness, you can just take a pick tool, get it underneath that little tab right there, pry that up a little bit, and you can remove that harness. Leave that in there if you want. Pop this guy loose. That whole thing comes right out. From there, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 mils. We're gonna leave those for now, and we're gonna do everything around the outside. We're gonna take clips off from the wheel well and bolt that's in here, and all the bolts underneath first, so that those hold it in place while we do the rest. From the side here, you have the wheel wells, and there's a bunch of these plastic clips. One here, one here. I believe. Yeah, another one here. So 3 of those. Remove those 3. Those are the typical style where just get a pry up on there, pops off. Right there. Alright, so right there you can see there's a little 8 mil bolt. That's what holds the fender on. So get a 8 mil up there, just remove that 8 mil, and then this is just held on with clips, so it just pops off after that. Also 2 more clips. 2 more clips that you're gonna want to remove are that one and that one. These guys here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 mils. All right, now we can come over here to the fender where we remove that bolt. Just give that a good pull. You can tape that up too if you want, but this is just held on with these 3 clips. They're pretty tight, so pull that, and come over this side and do the same thing. Now we can go ahead and remove these ones. We're going to leave the middle one just to hold the bumper while you release it from these points here. So these right here are just clips. So if you just pull back on that, once again, you can tape that up there if you need, or if you feel safer doing so, just come in. Just pull that back like that. Now, if you just pull to release these 3 here, same thing on this side. Now that we got all that done, now we come back, release this one. Alright, once you have the bumper released, or one more wire harness, pull that guy back. And then just trying to hold the bumper up at the same time. Realistically, you should be able to just pull back and push in, but sometimes there's stuff stuck in there, so you just take a pick and go from the back. Pry that up with your pick and release it. All right, now got the bumper released. I'm gonna go set this aside, show you guys how to remove the headlights. For the headlights, there's one 10 mil bolt right there, one 10 mil bolt right here, and then a wiring harness that's right behind this bracket right there, which I find is easier to get off out after releasing these and pulling the headlight forward a little bit, because you can access it right here. All right, so now you can give the headlight a little wiggle, and now you can tell we moved it forward, and we can access that wire a lot better. We're gonna take and move this tab as far back as we can. If you have issues with it, you can also just use your pick tool and just fully release, and that might help you. Yeah, the more you pull back on this guy. So now that we've done that, now we can slide the headlight out just like that. All right, and that's how to remove the front bumper and headlights off of your Tesla Model 3 Highland. Hopefully that was helpful. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next one. How to remove the mirror and inner door panel on your Tesla Model 3. Tools you need and how to do it. Let's go into the shop and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. We're going to need a 10 mil. You can use it on a wrench or ratchet. Most likely you'll want a socket for it. A T30 Torx bit and either a flat screwdriver, plastic pry tool is ideal. You'd rather want to use a plastic pry tool, but if you don't have that, as long as you're super careful, you can use a flat screwdriver, or if you have to, a pick. But we're going to use a plastic pry tool here. What you're going to do to start, we need to remove this little light cover thing, and that's where we're going to pry that thing out, just like that. So that just pries right out. Be careful of that. Set that away somewhere safe. I'm going to set it on my workbench here. Right there, we have one of the bolts I was talking about is right there. And then the other two, one of them is under the handle here, right here, and right here. I'll show you a close-up on that right now. Like I was saying, one of them is right underneath the handle, and the other one is right there. So remove that one, and this one. And this is where your T30 comes into play on both or all three of these. Now I did that, we can continue taking these other two out. Okay, so the next part of this is taking this pry tool and popping this. Unfortunately, I popped these first two off camera, but the best way to do it is to get it in over here. It seems to have more leverage here, and then move it over here and start popping here. So pop, pop, and then you should be able to get your hand in there and just move along as you pop those clips off. Now they are tight, so just be aware of that. So there you go. After you get all those clips popped off, there is a wiring harness right here. There's this wiring harness right here. So this little red piece right here, pop that back and then push. You're about to pop that off. Here, this cord. See if I can move the camera here so you guys can see this. This cord that is here, that's your door handle cord. And that guy, just pop that out of there. And then here, this guy just pops in. So just pull forward, work it around there, and then pull it out of that channel. Then you can remove that and the whole door panel removes. Now you got that whole door panel removed. This wiring harness right here, this is for the mirror. Just pull back on, push that back tab backwards and then pull out and your wiring harness is removed. And then we can move over here. It's like pry tool. Now there's a couple clips on these, on this rubber piece here that you'll have to get popped off. One there, and there's one on the inside here. So try to get at that one. There we go. So now you can actually leave this right where it is, but just pull it back a bit, and you'll see that there is a 10 mil right there. That's one of the 10 mil bolts for the mirror. And then these guys here, 1, 2. So it's 1, 2, 3. So we'll go ahead and just pop those guys loose. And one more. Now, when you're doing the last one, I suggest holding the mirror. So as you can tell here, I'm holding the mirror so that as I take this last bolt off, that it doesn't fall. So as you can tell, it's already loose. And if it's a vehicle, you just can't reach. Oh. All right, we got the last bolt here. Now, should be able to just wiggle that out. Make sure that all feed that all through there. Just like that, our mirror is off. How to remove Tesla Model 3 taillights in just 2 minutes. Now we are going to remove the taillights, and in order to do that, we do need to take the inside cover of the trunk off, because there is a wiring harness and a bolt or a nut, one 8mm nut that we got to take off. And other than that, it's 2 8mm bolts here, one here and one here. I'll show you guys that here in a second. So we're going to go ahead and start by removing this cover. And to start by doing that, move that guy there. It's just plastic clips that hold this guy on. So we just go around and carefully remove all those clips. And then it's just one wiring harness here for your button. Okay, one wiring harness off there. We can go ahead and set this inside here if you want. Just be careful of that. Move that. Kind of tuck that wiring harness away. And now, it's one wiring harness here. It does have one of those red clip pieces. You don't want to. So yeah, this red piece all the way back, and then push down on it a little bit and pull out. Then there's our 8mm nut that I was talking about. And then we have one 8mm bolt and second 8mm bolt. So we're going to go ahead and remove both of those, or all three of those, I should say. One, removed. Two. And three. Now the taillight is ready to come out. Now at this point, it should just pull right out. If it doesn't, you might be able to might need to use a little pry tool in a couple of these spots. But just as you've seen, it just pulled right out. No big deal. How to remove Tesla Model 3 Highland pillar molding / trim. This guy right here. That goes all the way along. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to remove that right now. To remove this molding, you're going to start by pulling back this weather stripping. And just pull that back. There's a clip over here. So take your plastic pry tool and get in there. And remove that clip. It's just one of these guys that you want to get into there with. So remove that. And then you're just going to walk along and just pull this down. Just like that. So now that this is hanging there, now you're going to also have to do the same thing with the back. You're going to have to pull this down and out. Now don't pull too hard because it is attached, or it is stuck in over here. So you just want to pull it away and down. Now you got 1, 2, and 3 Torx right there. And now just grab your T20 Torx, whether it's on an impact or screwdriver like this, and just remove those. Set them aside carefully. So that's 2 of them. Now we got these 3 right here. And we're going to remove these 3 Torx. 1, 2, and 3. Here, you want to pull forward. The whole thing pops right off. So it slides into here. Make sure when you're putting it back in, you slide it into here. And just like that, you got your A-pillar / full pillar trim removed, which really only took a few minutes to remove, and you can save yourself so much time and headache by not having to deal with the dirt, the debris, or having to try to tuck and wrap in there. Now you can just wrap inside there and put this guy back over top. Make sure you're careful when you're putting it back so you're not damaging your wrap, but it just saves you a lot of time. How to remove Tesla Model 3 Highland rear bumper and the tools you're going to need. So you're going to need a Torx T20. This is just one of these guys that outer bit, put it onto the screwdriver. You can use it whenever you got that's a T20. Flat screwdriver or a little pry tool like this. Some plastic pry tools, clip removers, and a 10 mil socket, preferably a socket bracket. So let's jump into it. We're going to start by removing this plastic piece here. This is the one where you need that T20 to remove this plastic bolt. Unscrew that guy, set that aside. Then pull the weather stripping back a little bit. This just helps get that axis to move like that. Now there's a clip here that's holding it, so we're gonna do a little bit of a pry on that. There we go. And then there's 2 clips down here, so just be careful. Give it a little wiggle, and those guys will pop out. And this is the one that goes into here. So set that aside, and you'll see we have a 10 mil right there. Go ahead and pop this guy out and repeat this same process on the other side. Take off this mud flap. So we're just gonna push this guy back. These guys, for some reason, come off really loose on this car. Maybe I just need to pinch that like that for reinstalling. But this guy here, pop that off if you have the same mud flaps. And then we got this clip. For some reason the inner piece is missing, so it's gonna come off really easy. I'm not sure how it's even still there. So pop that off. There should be a piece inside here. And then this should just wiggle right off. All right here we got another one of those T20 screws. That's right on the inside of the fender here. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. Right there. You pull back this liner a little bit, you'll have to get that guy. That holds the bumper, this end of the bumper onto the quarter panel. So pull that little screw off, and then you'll be able to pull the bumper off of there. So there you go. That's the screw that you're going to take out from there. So once you got this stuff off, the mud flap, this screw out of here, now we're going to work on the bottom. On the bottom, there is 1, 2, 3 bolts here. There's another bolt under here, and then on the other side, the same thing. We're going to go ahead and we're going to remove these guys, pop this off, do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. Flat screwdriver or a little angled pry tool like this comes in handy. There we go. There's the 10 mil under there. The 3 without washers are for the outside here. And this one with a washer goes here. All right, get the other side down here. Now that you've got all those bolts underneath taken off, now we can move on to the side here, and we're just gonna wiggle and pull, and that's gonna allow us to pop these guys off here. These guys go into this plastic retainer that's bolted onto the quarter panel, and we're gonna wanna do the same thing here. Something to take note of, on the driver's side, there's a sensor in there, so you will have to disconnect that sensor. All right. Just pull. Sometimes you gotta push down on these guys a little bit or pull up on this. Just help it along. There we go. We are completely loose on this side for that. All right, there we go. We're loose there. All right, once you've got this all pulled back, there is a bolt in there. It's really dirty in there. That's to be expected. I don't know if you guys can see right in the middle of the screen there, there's another 10 mil bolt there. I believe I need to take that one off yet to be able to get this loose here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that now with a ratchet. All right, I got that guy removed, as you can tell. Wasn't able to get a good camera angle on that, but as you can see now, I can actually pull this loose, and it's coming loose from the rest there. So we are gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Now that we've got those bolts out, got my hands kind of gross, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop this centerpiece off, or loose, which is just like that. Now the whole thing is loose, other than it's stuck on the bottom, that bottom valence piece. What you're gonna have to do is get in here. These are the pieces that are holding it on right now. And so, I don't know if you guys can see this too well, is right down here, these plastic tabs. Just pull up on that tab. Use a flat screwdriver or a pry tool like I am. And as you saw right there, it popped loose. So we're gonna do the same thing here. It's kind of awkward. Best to have another person, but I'm the only one here right now, so we're gonna make this work. There's also this wiring harness that you're gonna wanna remove before you remove the rest of the bumper, ideally, so you're not putting so much pressure on it. But remove that wiring harness, there's just gonna be a red clip, pull back on that red clip, and then you'll be able to push down on the pin and pull it out. All right, here's that wiring harness. I was able to pop it off a little bit, and we're just gonna go ahead and push that guy out, and then get my clip or my pin in here. There we go. All right, just like that, the wiring harness is off. You just need to pull back on this guy, and then you can get a flat screwdriver or a little pry tool like this, or pick, and push that guy up. Or if you can get it pushed down on here, and that should do it. The other wiring harness that you're gonna have to get out is this guy here. So same thing, or very similar thing. Pull that back, and just like that. All right, so just walk along it and pop those loose. And your bumper will slowly fall as you're doing that. So I have this floor mat piece that I'm putting here, so don't damage anything. And that is how to remove the bumper on a Tesla Model 3 Highland in probably 5-10 minutes, something like that. You can do this with some very basic tools. Whether you're replacing parts, fixing some bodywork, adding customization parts, or you're doing it for a wrap. This is how to easily do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one.